Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
This is Hot 702.5.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Chris.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor, 'cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream, wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid, you and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this, they call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, yeah. Your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks that have reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, with all whole hands every week on the beach. Party by the sand, word up. Take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to JF kill.
I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, I feel the rain coming, let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go.
Refugees, yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Jay, and you are in with the report. I appreciate you guys every Saturday on at 10 a.m. to be able to sit with me and talk this politic. So I first want to this year is pretty fast. Okay, we're already in March, and I tell y'all, this has been a treat for me. I've had 3 crazy dreams, okay? And if anybody is a dream interpreter, please go ahead and get into one. But I had a dream where my mom and like you could tell, like we were going to like a all-star women's type of concert where whatever it was, Riri was the opener. So everybody else was classic, right? So, and it was just like, it was so chaotic with me trying to get in. And it was like, I had the spirit of my sister on me that told me like, that she's already in her seat. Okay. She's already there. Okay. And she, even though I didn't see her, I kind of like, and then my mama in the lobby. And then, it was me and my friend all maneuvering. She is all been able to get into places, do different things, and she just be moving. But I had Christian, I had bags, it had been raining, all type of stuff. Like I got all this stuff with me, right? So we finally get to the lobby. We're still trying to get to our seats. My seat, with me, and gave me 2 drinks. I felt like I was beautiful. I was ready to. But I had so much stuff that my cousin told me, hey, you need to put that in the locker, right? And I'm like, my mom was like, if you put it in the locker, you're going to make us this whole show, so we can't wait on you. So I have Christian. I have to make sure he gets to his seat. And I'm like, but I need you to be able to either watch the drinks or watch my purse so I can go put this stuff into this locker. And it was like, no, you have to do this on your own. We are already late. We cannot wait for you. So I tell you that I kind of like in this dream, I fell down and was like, but I needed you. I need you. I need you to help me so I can make it. And I had to realize that there were certain things I could not do and certain things that I had to do regardless. So the reason why she didn't want me to put my stuff in the locker meant that I was going to miss the end of the show. Okay, which was the headliner, which was the most important part, because I was going to have to leave out early or we were going to end up being to get out of the concert late. And she had to make sure that Christian got to his seat because she was watching him. I have help with him. But I had to figure it out on my own. So in the dream, I had to realize that I could not take the drinks because, of course, once you put your drinks down, okay, you can't drink them. You don't know who go put something in it. I was putting my stuff in the locker and I finally made it to my seat. So I woke up and in this dream, I felt like I need to get it together and I cannot depend on everyone for me, but I do have help for my son. And it was so trying for me, y'all. So I just want to open up and let y'all know what's going on with me. Okay. So in that, keep me in your prayers. I'm still trying to make it like everybody else. Okay. But going on and getting into the subjects, I am political science. I have my education in university. I am a native of Las Vegas, Nevada, where most of my focus is for community, but I do talk about international, national, also economic Black ways for people to come together. So I will start off by going on here in Las Vegas. I just want to kind of give you what's going on here. I don't know if you guys remember, but I most remember Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp, a Rebel legend, with the starting 5 from the Running Rebels I think that was like the late 80s, not 90s, but like right there. And he ended up going to like the Supersonics and everything else. Well, this dude then got into it with somebody, or allegedly, okay, they arrested him for a shootout. Now he is older than me. Like, I just feel like if he was involved in this, dude, you're too old. Get yourself together. There's no reason for you to be shooting at nobody. What was they, like a mall or something? So just some legend stuff. here in Las Vegas. I can't believe I heard that. Okay. And then also I want to let you guys know that's April 1st, Southwest Gas is going to raise their prices on your gas that you use in your home. So you guys look out for that. Make sure that you are prepared for any additional spikes with your gas bill. Okay. Don't be just running the drive for no reason. Over and over again. Lombardo declared a emergency here in northern Nevada. If you guys haven't known, in the Saharas of Nevada, we have almost like a foot or two of snow up there, and it is ridiculous. That whole Bay Area is actually going through that right now, so you guys keep them in your prayers because that's crazy. I cannot imagine in March, we still have record-breaking snow. Taxpayers might have to fit the bill for the F1 tickets, that they're doing the race here in Las Vegas or whatever. And that might cost us as taxpayers. Once again, all these large corporations and stuff like that, they come here and they never have to pay additional taxes because we have no state tax here. So they're able to house their events here with a lower cost, and it brings in business to us, but it also costs taxpayers here in Nevada a lot more money for us to help fund these events. And then just to let you guys know, Tuesday, Biden will be here in Las Vegas. So anywhere around the airport, casino areas, strip area, you can just go ahead and know that there's going to be traffic. Okay. And then I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but Nevada is supposed to be legalizing magic mushrooms. Okay. I actually have a clip on it. I want to go ahead and go into it.
Mushrooms may become available if the Silver State passes a newly proposed bill in the state legislature. Nevada Democrats want to decriminalize the use of small amounts of the psychedelic and study benefit of other controlled substances.
I spoke to a UNLV doctor who says this could be a game changer in Nevada's mental health and opioid crisis.
They are not your typical kind of mushrooms. These are magic mushrooms, and if a bill is passed, their use may be decriminalized for adults in Nevada.
These are powerful substances.
Neuroscience assistant professor at UNLV, Dr. Dustin Hines, says magic mushrooms are fungi that produce psilocybin, a naturally occurring psychedelic. Dr. Hines and others believe shrooms can help with the brain's healing process of mental disorders like post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and addiction.
Really promoting growth in those connections in the networks that is natural or better.
He says psilocybin might even provide a solution to Nevada's opioid crisis and drug dependency.
That psilocybin has a huge effect on use. So again, this could put Nevada at the forefront of research institutes.
Dr. Hines says he is thrilled Senate Bill 242 has been introduced in Nevada. It would decriminalize the use of magic mushrooms for people 18 and older in amounts smaller than 4 ounces.
These are all the connections.
Dr. Hines showed me how the psychedelic affects your brain.
Even the tissue looks different. You have more little granule cells. Nothing's been recruited.
But how do people in our community feel about the possible decriminalization of this psychedelic?
It helps a lot. It actually, it gives you a new perspective on life.
Jared Whitcomb says he uses magic mushrooms and claims it's helped him deal with anxiety and recover from an addiction to cigarettes. Jared Watts and his wife say he'd give the green light for medicinal purposes, but they have concerns about people taking advantage.
Alcohol, people abuse that against. I don't think it's going to be any different with magic mushrooms.
Another major overdose.
It's very unlikely to overdose. We talk about the LD50, the little dose, and that's very high for psilocybin.
Dr. Hines says legalization of marijuana wait for bills like this, but he says more research still needs to be done.
They're completely different, and I think the therapeutic benefit for marijuana is high, but I think the therapeutic benefit for psilocybin is even higher.
Now, for this bill to become law, it would have to pass both the both state Senate and Assembly, and then, of course, it would head over to Joe Lombardo for that final.
All right. So I have never taken mushrooms before personally. Like I said, I think that one person that'll do something like think of look in my eye and claw it out or something crazy. I'm not ready for that. Okay. But what they're saying about it helping with the opioid addiction and then the hallucinations, ADD, different properties, I wouldn't doubt it because it is a natural substance. Okay, so I would say if it comes to me about voting for it, I'm voting for it. Shit, y'all smoke weed? Shit, what's the problem? I mean, it's not my drug of choice, but if it's going to help somebody else be able to do better, I say let's go ahead and get it cracking. Okay, so. Tell me what you guys think. 551-5261. Go ahead and write it down in the comments. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know if that's something that I would want to take. But if it came to me and they told me that I needed to take some type of pill or take this, I most definitely would take the natural substance. I sure would. So nationally, I just want to go over a couple of things. So they're trying. If you guys have not heard in the last couple of days, they have been trying. The House voted 419 votes to 0 to declassify the intelligence for the coronavirus or what do you call it? COVID-19 origin of where it came from. They're saying basically they have this information and that they want it to be able to be public. This still has to go. It passed in the House, but this still has to the president, and they're saying that he might not actually sign this because of, I guess, a couple of different reasons why he might not sign this or veto this. Keep an eye on this because I would want to know what is going on and why would you give us this information if you know where it came from and we could have been prevented in the future. Democrats also are talking about closing the gender pay gap. Okay. With this being said, I want to say that this bill has not been able to be passed. Okay, and the reason why is every Republican, not a Republican or a Democrat, every Republican, no matter if they were man or woman, voted against women having equal pay. Now, before we go into this clip that I have, I want to say this. Men, think about it like this. If they put you on the same paying scale as women, okay, and you more child support, she has more income, okay? That means less income coming out of your pocket, all right? Thing is, why wouldn't you want women to have the same pay scale as you? Why would it, and the problem is not the actual jobs. They're not saying like, oh, it's a construction job or this is a job where it's all like a man's job. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is the jobs that are traditionally women jobs, okay, are being paid significantly less than what they would say either a male job or even a full female male job. So let's go ahead and go into this clip and you guys tell me what you think in the comments.
We know that there is a consistent and persistent gender pay gap in the United States. Currently, on average, the gap is about 20%, meaning that on average, women are earning approximately 80% of what men are earning. In fact, what's even more concerning than the gender pay gap is what I like to call the career advancement gap. So essentially, if you look at organizations and you look at entry-level employees in organizations, there's pretty much parity. But as individuals move up through organizations and advance throughout their careers, then we see huge gaps. So top management, we tend to see maybe 8% women. At the CEO level, we're at 4%. Of course, they're related and the gender pay gap, given that people also earn higher salaries as they move up throughout organizations. If we look historically, the gap has gotten smaller. And it also is quite a bit by age. So for example, if we look among young adults, the gap is very small. This is almost minimal, approximately %. Where the gap really balloons is around age 35. Not surprisingly, around age 35 is also when caregiving responsibilities tend to be high, child care, elder care, etc. And then we really see the gap to balloon between what men and women are earning. And that's a consistent pattern. We've seen that over 50 years historic age point for the gender pay gap. Employers should make salary offers based on what they think the job should pay and not be asking people what they earned previously, because the idea is if men and women are earning different salaries, then by asking questions about past salary history, it's just perpetuating those gaps. One of the ways in which researchers, including myself, have tried to understand this gap is through gender differences in negotiation processes, meaning are men more likely to ask for even slightly higher salary, right? Or during a negotiation are perhaps more competitive, more assertive than women tend to be. Can that help explain the salary gap we see? And I would really encourage anyone who is in the process of receiving a job offer, accepting a job offer, to think about negotiation, to think about potentially negotiating the salary or perhaps other aspects of the offer.
Okay, so with that being said, white men, to their dollar, white women are paid around about 87 cents to their dollar. Black women are paid 64 cents to their dollar. So I can't see me saying that I'm being represented in the Republican Party if the entire Republican Party voted against women having equal pay. Okay, like this is not the 50s. This is not when guys used to own us, and we did. And that's half of the problem, is that for so long women were not able to get an education, to not work. Okay, so when it finally came about, we got the bare minimum. Okay, and we are the fastest growing of small business, online business, education, and Black women. So it's unfair, and I want us to be able to have. You have to think about when you deal with women, okay, and you have to not only deal with them, but you have to deal with their whole entire family. It's not the same when it's with a man. Now, don't get me wrong. There are men out there that are single fathers. There are men out there that are the head of their household, and they're the only ones that work. Things like that. Okay, but what is there is a gap there, and that's not fair. Okay, it's the same thing as if you say that Black people should be paid the same amount as white people. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so saying that, I just want to give a shout out to the Las Vegas Urban League that does help with subsidy for child care. Okay, if you look up their website, you can go to there and pull out their application. They last year, what's that? Sisolak and Horsford put in a program to give $50 million towards low-income families in their child care. So if you are a person that is paying for daycare for your children, or paying for them to go like to the after-school program or whatever, or your grandma, your friend is watching your child, this is for them to be able to build income. This is a way for you to be able to get this bill. Not to say take you, but where they're able to help you pay that. And for people who are paying child support, I know it is like paying rent. And if you have multiple children, you can say about $1,200 to more for your children to be taken care of in a safe environment. So it's just wanted to be able to add that and know that there's a reason why we should be able to have equal pay in 2023. I also want to say something about a community event that is happening here in Las Vegas before I move forward. Thursday, March 30th at 8 to 1 p.m. at the at the First AME at 2446 Revere Street, Vegas 89030. This is a free health screening and community resource fair. So they're doing dental checks, vision, senior services, employment services, housing services, mental health services, and also helping you get your Medicaid card. Or this is also commercial members. They are also helping with mammograms, sick visits, diabetes screening, and wellness exams. This is something that if you don't have money in, you got a couple of, a Saturday off or a Thursday, sorry. Check this out and it'll help you, okay? And that is on the put that before the end of the day. Y'all know that it's daylight saving time on Sunday. At 2 a.m. you're supposed to move your time forward. I'm not sure. Forward. Okay. So the government that they want to make that permanent. I didn't know that you could vote to have that permanent. I thought that was something that had to do with the earth. Okay, tell you what I know. I was today years old to say that the government could be able to pick what time the sun goes out. I have a video, a clip on it. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
End of falling back. The unit unanimously passing a bill that daylight saving time permit. Gio Lutez is here now to tell us what this change could mean. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, a lot of people like these later sunsets, and it turns out you may just be able to keep them if this bill gets. Now, you said it, it's a bill that hopes to make daylight saving time permanent by next year. So in other words, no more springing forward or falling back. And it really appears to be something that both Republicans and Democrats can agree on, at least on the Senate side. The bipartisan bill, unanimous consent, Senator Marco Rubio, quote, if we can get this passed, we don't have to do this stupidity anymore. Now it heads over to the House. No word this morning on when the House will vote on it. The president still has to vote on it. But I got to say, I tend to like those brighter mornings, those earlier sun. It's a little strange.
In the minority.
I know. Janae was telling me the same thing upset. But it turns out, listen, if we go back and forth,
you're the
Thank God you're not in Congress.
I have literally I have never heard anybody get booed off the set here till you just got booed.
I'm done.
All right. So, like I said, I didn't know that you could just vote upon that. Okay. And I already think it's too damn early. All right. So why they didn't do this the last time so we could keep that extra hour? Because I'm against it. Voted no if that was okay. The bill is raised to okay. So, like I said, Biden is coming into Las Vegas on Tuesday to him lowering the cost of prescription drugs. But just the other day, they were trying to pass a bill to see if they could top the top 10% or the richest corporations to be able to pay the same amount of taxes that a regular person will pay. To me, that just makes sense, right? If I have to pay it as a regular person, why don't you have to pay it? Why do they keep saying, okay, let's do this trickle down effect? Nothing trickles down to me. Okay, I don't ever get my check when they talk about with the trickle down. So I am most definitely for. Okay, the bill that they raised the taxes of 10% because I'm tired of y'all always raising the taxes on the middle people and harder for us to be able to move. All right. What else? Oh, so there's a bill out there that see if women could get an extra year, so a year after having birth, to have postpartum care for in your mind. Having a baby is like the stakes close to death. All right. And it is traumatic to go through, not just through your body, but in your mental. Okay. First time moms, second time moms have lost before, it really doesn't matter. It's like going through that type of trauma in your body deserves for you to have additional care, and I would vote yes for that. Okay, so today's lesson, I kind of wanted to go into some things where I kind of ask you some questions and see how this works for you. All right. So, dealing with the stock market, people really don't understand exactly what the stock market is, but it is all of the resources that are in this country. Okay. That means that it can go all the way down to something as small as a restaurant, all right, all the way up to something that is a large corporation. It is as small as corn to gold to diamonds. Okay, so every resource, if you're putting money into it to back these types of resources and businesses, then this is our economy. Okay, so you know how the economy crashing. Okay, they had an economy crash in the early 1900s and stuff like that. And then we had another situation right before Obama where it crashed again. Where was that George W. Bush was in there and they had overfunded the war. So with that, you guys think it's going to happen? Okay, this is why the inflation. Because right now, the stock market is down, really bad. Okay, we're already trying to stop all the additional currencies and everything else. The cyber currency, the crypto, things like that. They're trying to regulate these things so the dollar does not go under. But we are so overutilizing this dollar right now that it is possible that we crash our dollar and our dollar might not be worth nothing. Okay, so a dollar is worth 100 pennies right now. Depending on where you go in the country, in the world, the dollar might not mean much. Okay, so you can take $1 million to a different country and end up only having like 500,000, okay, or less, depending on where you go. So it is important for us to be able to reserve this money and make sure that our products and stuff are selling and that the market is at its high. But how do you do that when it's inflation? How do you do that when businesses are going out of business because of all the things that happened during COVID? How do you do that when you got banks and stuff like you got the Silicon Valley Bank just closed? Okay, Silicon Valley is where they're Google, all these additional cyber, all this stuff there, right? This is a major booming ass place for brand new, wonderful business. It did a lot. That bank did a lot to be able to fund a lot of corporations and new businesses that came about. They're telling them that they can't even get their hands on their money until Wednesday, and that's only if they have a certain amount in the bank. Anything above that, they're saying they don't even know if they're gonna be able to give it to them. So, what are you doing about your crash of the money? What are you going to do about that? So, with that being said, I wanted to talk about Black business, right? And ask you these questions. How many Black people are in the United States? Okay. And then how many Black-owned businesses do you have in the United States? What if every Black person sent $1? $1. Okay, what if every Black person sent $1 to one business, Black business, every week? What do you think that would do about Black economics? What do you think that would do for not only that business, but that business is going to be able to put something into the community? That business is going to be able to grow and be able to hire more people. That business is going to be able to get to the point where they can be publicly traded. What would you do if you were a business and you could receive $1 for every Black person in this country? Okay, and I'm not saying every week. That same business, we picked a different business every week to be able to send $1 to. Why don't we start with this one? Okay, so there's a cash out for our radio station, which is Black owned here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we are international. We are amazing, and you guys can all love us and support us. So our cash app is $ hot 705 FM. All right, so with us, and we'll start trickling. Okay, let's see if we can trickle. The large corporations don't trickle. I'll never see that money. So thanks for supporting. Especially go ahead and send that cash app. Once again, that cash is Hot 7025 FM. All right. All right. So, let's go into some additional. So, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to who's going to start running for president. I'm not really about voting for president because it literally that person is more ceremonial than anything. That's the face of the country, okay? But they do have the power to be able to veto things and sign things and have executive order. So they're still somewhat powerful, but they are the least powerful of, like, you have the House and Congress, which is the most powerful because those are the people that you pick. Those are the people that represent you. Then you have your judges, which is your judicial. That's your sheriffs, your judges, your attorney general, stuff like that. They enforce the law, okay? And then you have the president, who is basically the face of the country or whatever the case may be, but does have the ability to be able to make a executive decision and say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to sign it in. So right now, the Republicans, y'all not looking too good. Y'all got Trump and DeSantis. Okay, if you are a person that is a Republican and you decided you're going to vote, are any of these two any of your vote? And the Democrats look just as crazy. Okay, this is turned into a shit show. Okay, I don't know if this is a circus or what, because the clowns is coming out. All right, I'm just not to the point where I understand where do we do better, because we have the Republican Party who is deciding that we're just not going to vote for anything that's going to do anybody any good, because we're just going to vote for for Republicans. We don't want the Democrats to succeed in being able to move forward, so we're just not going to vote for anything. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. We're just going to vote Republican. Not good, we're going to vote for the people. We're just going to vote Republican. And then you have the Democrats that leave shit out, okay? And then also do additional things like promise that they go do stuff and then they never do it for certain groups or whatever the case may be. This is a shit show. And I don't know what we're going to do when people decide that they're going to run for president and the committees and stuff that they're going to put together. This is stressful. Okay, because how do you get to the point of having good representation and someone that they're going to respect for this country if you continue to have clowns get into these seats? You had the two oldest people in the world running for president last time, and neither one of them really give a fuck about the actual people. Biden is basically doing that because this is his last hurrah, okay? And then Trump doing it just because he won't TV time. This is not because of you. This is not because they love their people. Biden has used the black community and the black women so much to not do shit for us, okay? And then on the same level, you have Trump that has not done shit for the poorer white Americans, but for y'all still hold him down. Just, it's confusing to me. I don't understand why it's like that. So that bothers me, because if we don't have a good head, you know what I'm saying, somebody to lead us, then we look stupid. In the middle of that, we're having conversation about if China sits with Russia, decides to go with Russia, then do we have another World War III? Let's go ahead and let's go into that clip.
Suspending Russia's participation in New START. What does that mean for the region? Does that mean a nuclear escalation is ahead of us? If not, if this agreement not resumed or new arrangement come up with?
Well, we'll have to see what steps the Russian Federation actually takes. President Putin made this pronouncement. The MFA put out a statement essentially saying what they would not do and the practices that would continue in line with New START. Nevertheless, this was an unfortunate decision. It was an irresponsible decision. We hope Russia reverses course. We've made very clear that a couple things. Number one, Russia has been in technical non-compliance with the treaty for some time precisely because the Russians weren't willing to meet with us at an opportunity that we had arranged late last year, earlier this year. Overcoming that technical non-compliance would not be a difficult feat. We hope Russia reverses course. It's not only in our interests, it's in Russia's interest, it's in the interest of countries. Yes.
Just one question about China, Russia. Ukrainian president drove in media that if China sides with Russia, there's a world war. First of all, do you share that sentiment? It's not like I'm sure you must have seen the reporting and the remarks that were made to the Welt newspaper. And also, you're talking about severe consequences. What's the best that the United States has got to offer at the moment as a deterrent, like in a veto? If you provide lethal, what's the best that you can offer?
On the second part of your question, we think there is an advantage to some degree of ambiguity. We have been clear with the PRC about the fact that consequences would befall them if they were to provide lethal assistance, but we think it's most effective, again, if we leave that ambiguous and we continue to warn consistently of those consequences. Look, when it comes to a broader conflict, President Biden has been determined that we are going to do everything we can to support our Ukrainian partners. We are going to rally the world to support our Ukrainian partners. We're going to provide them with security assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance, diplomatic assistance, political assistance, and every other form of support that we responsibly can. But we are also going to do everything we can to manage escalation and to see to it this is not turn into a broader conflict. That is a profound interest to us.
Attention speakers, coaches, authors, and consultants. Do you know how powerful?
All right. So that's a concern for me. I don't know if you guys have watched me before, but I've said that it's a possibility that we might end up going into war. And we are already highest at our debt. Okay. So some of these countries that we are going to war with, we owe money to. And if we renege on being able to give them payment, there's a possibility that they might decide to go on the other side of this war. If we end up going to think about if they'll do a draft, you have to think about they're going to bomb over here, and we not built for it. America, let's talk about it. We're not built for it, okay? You see these third world countries go through this war, and you see them with their buildings falling, and they're screaming for their loved ones, and people being shot down, and all these additional things that are happening. I'm not built for it. Let me not tell your story. Let me tell you my story. I'm not built for a war, okay? I'm not built to be watching my head for bombs and everything else. I'm not capable of being able to comprehend my son going into war for and I'll be very honest, for white man's power. Okay, I don't want my son fighting this war for them, because they would not fight this war for my son. Okay, so I don't want my son to have that option of him having to go into the military to fight for this country, which does not fight for him. If you have questions on that, or you have a problem saying that, 702-551-5261. It's not fair. It's not fair in the fact of, if we end up going to war, you have to think about what they're going to have to cut, okay, to be able to make sure that they can fund this war. That's why we're at the debt we're at right now. They're sending billions and trillions of dollars, okay, over to just Ukraine, but you have all these additional countries that we are sending funding over to for war. But nothing's being taken care of at home, okay? That's like a sorry baby daddy that live with you, okay? That's like he live here, but he don't really benefit you, okay? He's not really paying the bills. He's more or less running the bills up on you. And it would be beneficial if you put him out, but you use him for babysitting services and picking the kids up type stuff. This is what I mean by we will not benefit. we will end up paying higher in taxes. Our inflation on our food and everything else is going to go up. Then you have to think about your kids doing bomb shelter and placement drills and everything else. You have to worry about, and they can weaponize everything. They've been able to weaponize food. Look at them being able to put mucus and all additional stuff in the food. Look at the stuff that they tell you that we're able to eat over here, and we're not able to eat overseas. You know, it's like they tell you, like, don't eat the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What the hell you mean? I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but we had to find an alternative. Okay, they say don't eat. It's a couple of different things that they say don't eat Doritos. Don't eat Doritos. Don't eat Gatorade. I mean, don't drink Gatorade. These are things like, what do you mean? I love those things. Okay, like, no, and they are able to use that to be able to put into our food. They're able to weaponize the weather. Okay, look at all this additional shit that's happening. Why are we having record-breaking snow in March? Okay, why are all these trucks so-called flipping over? Now, the reason why I say that, and people are like, conspiracy theory, this and all this stuff, they use commercial planes to fly into those buildings in New York, okay, on 9/11. That means that was a regular a service that is used by the public, just like the roadways. So why wouldn't they be able to pay, certain people to be able to crash them things and things happen? You know, so I think about all solutions in that. And I think about the fact that war is not a solution for us. I do not want to go to war. We have already extended ourselves financially. We have extended ourselves militarily. We are already sending our military to all these different places. Who the hell go take care of home? If the baby daddy is out spending money on hoochies and beer and his homies, and then when he come home he don't have no money, who is taking care of the home? Who is going to make sure that we are okay here? All right, so no, I'm not for it. I don't want a war. I want them to go ahead and go on about their business. I want us to stop funding Ukraine, and I'm being honest, and the reason why I'm saying that is because Ukraine has never helped us with anything. Okay, let's just be honest about what it is. They have never helped us, and then they were able to come to the same borders that we border with our neighbors, Mexico, with the Mexicans, and they would not let the Mexicans in, but the Ukrainians came straight into the country. Okay, sending them additional money, allowing their students to come here and go to HBCUs for free when they won't even let your own black students go to HBCUs for free here. Okay, we send all this additional money over there, and in the same fact, we have all these train derailments and toxic waste spills of trucks and oil and all the additional stuff, and then not a dollar. They ain't putting shit into that. So it's a problem. It's a big issue for me. Okay, so black people, we need to figure out what it is that we want to do, and I want to go ahead and go into a little small segment that I call Black Billionaire. Okay, and I just want you to see who he is, and let's go ahead and go into the clip.
Hey guys, for Complex Hustle, I'm Asia Celestino. You may not recognize his name right away, but Robert Smith, a self-described quiet engineer, is impacting the next generation of African Americans. He's a former Goldman Sachs exec, the founder of investment firm Vista Equity Partners, and, oh yeah, the second richest black billionaire in the US. The first is Oprah, in case you forgot. But Smith credits his career achievements to a solid education even before college. As a junior at East High School, a public school in Denver, Colorado, he became interested in computer science. His favorite subject led to an obsession with a college internship at Bell Labs. Smith says after 6 months of relentless company to intern, he was offered an interview, internship, and a job. He told 9 News that he wants to be a role model for young black men, inspiring them to pursue careers in science, tech, engineering, and math. It's important that these young African American men understand there are people like Robert Smith out there who can actually be learned in the sciences, engineering, finance, and create a platform that can impact not tens, not hundreds, but millions of people just like them. And with his success, the billionaire has made sure to practice each one teach one. Smith is the founding director of the Fund 2 Foundation, dedicated to preserving the African American experience, involved with his alma maters, and a trustee of the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Francisco. He says that his philanthropic work is dedicated to creating opportunities for African Americans, women in STEM.
All right, so I just wanted to give you guys a gist of the second biggest billionaire that we have in the country, black man. And I wanted to talk about James Baldwin, and they were talking about what they thought they should have been fighting for civil rights and what they actually end up getting. So they were having a conversation, and the conversation was talking about them and equality. They wanted the same fares, the same money. They wanted the same opportunities. And they were basically told to start focusing on voting rights instead of focusing on economy. So let's go ahead and go into that clip, where that clip expresses how James Baldwin wanted to talk about black economics empowerment and how what we should have done.
Let me just say that I think our expectation was extremely low. Segregation, discrimination, all forms of oppression were ubiquitous. Therefore, just to get just one light through that great abyss of darkness was something that we thought was extremely meaningful. And that light was to get public accommodations through and to get the Voting Rights Act through.
To bring it into a kind of daily humiliation.
There you go. Had we taken a broader view, we would have known that the battle really wasn't about integration, but it was about economics. We had a chance, however, to take on AT&T. Well, that decision caused a lot of consternation, and I'm of the opinion that we probably had an agent working in SNCC.
Well, you can be absolutely sure of that. I remember the moment very well.
Because within a matter of 2 weeks, those of us who were the leaders in the movement were summoned to Washington, D.C. On a friendly visit.
For dropouts at Cardozo, which needs volunteers.
The Attorney General Robert Kennedy at that time made it very clear to us that we ought to turn our attention to voter registration, which he viewed as a far more meaningful activity. The majority of our group was to move away from the economic question and move into voter registration. Well, I quit because I took the position that I did not feel that it was the right decision. I thought that it was going to kill the movement, and in fact, I lived to see that happen.
Okay, so just to give a just on that, I agree, because the sit-ins and stuff like that, I'm expressing you guys that I don't think it was a good movement. I don't think that us sitting in white people's restaurants begging for them to take our money, okay, made any sense when we should have been supporting our black businesses and putting the money into our black businesses, developing our own businesses. If they weren't going to accept us into theirs, we would have been better to be able to keep ours and to be able to put our own money into there. But because black people we have economic power. We don't market. We don't buy from each other. It's up for grabs. So that's why they wanted to push for what do you call it? What do you call it? The acts that were put into jobs. And they were saying affirmative action. It slipped my mind just like that. Affirmative action. So now instead of you having your own attorney firms, you now have only two people in a district attorney firm. And now will be the owner of that firm because the firm is in between somebody else's family. You guys, I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. to be able to talk this shit and politics with you. This is Kristie J. This is the Chisholm Report. I love you and see you guys next week. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. And I'll see you guys next week on hot702.5fm.com.
Instead of spending billions on the war,